This video response is not only going out to Barry Gibb, because he's the last surviving member of the Bee Gees, but it is also going out to a lady named Danielle DeWitt. And that is her handle on YouTube, so I'm assuming that's her real name. I will explain the additional response later in this video. The reason for this response is due to the music video entitled Tragedy by the Bee Gees. And I know I misspelled it on my fan page. I will go ahead and correct that just as soon as I can. I've listened to this song for years because it came out in 1979, so I am very familiar with this song, and I have listened to it for years. It's one of my big favorites, okay? And I've also seen the music video, which basically is just their album and they're just playing the song. They didn't really have an official music video for this. Oh well. So I decided to ask a few questions about this particular song. Alright. According to the lyrics, why is that part of town lonely? Why aren't you holding your lady? What happened? Why is the feeling gone? How does the morning cry? I didn't know mornings could cry. I'd like to know that one. Why are you going nowhere? What are you losing control of? And where are you going down to? Now, the original song is a timeless classic, okay? It does have a lot of synthesizer to it, but it has horns, and I think it would have done real well if they'd had some violins to go along with it too. I really do, but they didn't, so anyway. And it has the sound of thunder. When you have a song with the sound of thunder, that is not necessarily a happy song. It is a pretty sad song at this point, or probably something that's very angry, or even frustration. Doesn't matter. Okay. So, this sound of thunder actually emphasizes the heartache of the person described in the song. I have to admit that it is at times difficult to hear all the lyrics in the song due to the heavy synthesizer music and the background trumpets. But, in a simple song like this, hearing all the lyrics is basically unnecessary. If you get the majority of them, you pretty much get the gist of this particular song. It's not a terribly complicated song. You can pretty much get the gist of it just by hearing most of the lyrics. And you can hear most of them. Not all, but you can hear most of them. Okay? After all, the music itself can give you a clue as to what's going on in the song. And when you hear the sound of thunder, you pretty much figure out that this is not a happy song. And personally, I can understand most of the lyrics if I pay enough attention as I'm listening. Now, you have to keep in mind, back in 1979, if we wanted to know lyrics to a song, we went to the music store, we could actually buy the lyrics. So we could read the lyrics if we wanted to. It's just in this case, I really didn't have any need to do that. Okay? So, in a song like this, back in 1979, you would either listen to it on a record player. If you had a pretty good record player, you could pretty much hear what you wanted to hear. It depended on whether you had the LP, okay, or, which would be the long playing record, or if you had a 45. If you had the LP, you probably got better sound, especially if you had a really good record player. If not, you had it from the 45, and that may not be so great in sound. But then again, this kind of a song, it wasn't terribly complicated, so you could pretty much figure it out for yourself. If you were listening to it from a radio station, and if you had a pretty decent radio, you probably could hear most of the lyrics. But if your portable radio just wasn't working all that great, and you had a radio station that was pretty far away, you might hear some of it, but not everything. Okay? So, for this particular version of the song, which was made in 1979 by the Bee Gees, I have to give it an A+, because it did actually get its message across, even if you didn't have the best stereo, or you had a 45 LP, or whatever. You could even go get the lyrics if you wanted to at a store, and you could read them for yourself, and you could find out what the song was actually all about. That was up to you. Okay? But let's fast forward to the 21st century. Now, before I say anything further, I will acknowledge that Steps is they're an exquisite band. They really do a good job in their singing. No question about it. They got great voices. They work well together. Whole 9 yards. They really have good instrumentation. Whole 9 yards. So that's not really the complaint here. Okay? Alright. So, if you ever get a chance to listen to the musical group Steps, and I highly recommend that, go ahead and listen to the musical group Steps. You can listen to their version of Tragedy, and it's not unpleasant. I will tell you that it's a pretty pleasant redo of the Bee Gees' Tragedy. Okay, so that's not a problem. Basically, the song was, when they did it was pretty well preserved. I have to grant you that. They did it in the original key. They did sing the lyrics right. They didn't alter the lyrics in any way. They had the instruments exactly the way it should have been. So that really wasn't the problem. But I'm going to give their version a low grade anyway for one reason. They just didn't bother to read the lyrics. They were not in 1979 when they actually made this remake. They're here in the 21st century. A simple Google search would have pulled up the lyrics to the Bee Gees' Tragedy. That's all there is to it, folks. I pulled it up in 2 minutes. So I know how easy it would have been for them to have pulled up the lyrics. They memorized the lyrics, so obviously they knew them, but they didn't pay attention to the meaning of it. Okay? And this is where they went wrong. Okay? This song has absolutely nothing to do with a wedding march. Nothing. Why they included it, I will never know, but it has nothing to do with a wedding march. Okay? We don't even know from the lyrics whether this guy was ditched by a girlfriend or possibly he got a divorce. We don't know that for sure because it's never specific in the actual lyrics. It'd be nice to know, but we don't know. Okay? By adding the wedding march to this song, you have altered the meaning of the song. And that is why you're getting a low grade. Why would anyone want to change the entire meaning of the song by adding a wedding march to the song? Are you the same kind of people that would literally repaint the Mona Lisa because you don't like exactly how it looks? Please. Anyway, I will be the first to admit that you can actually hear the lyrics of this song more clearly in their presentation, that would be the ones of Steps, than you can from the Bee Gees. But to change the meaning of the song just for ratings, they should be ashamed of themselves. And this leads to my response to Danielle DeWitt. I left a comment on the Steps Tragedy music video about my dismay at the addition of the wedding march. What was her initial reply? So what? Steps did it better than the Bee Gees. Well, that's an opinion. That's not necessarily a set of facts. Okay? That's her opinion. Then I stated to her that what she said was an opinion and not a statement of facts. I actually asked her why she thought Steps' performance was better than the Bee Gees. What was her reply? For a start, you can hear Steps singing it. Bee Gees you couldn't hear. Also, Steps actually told us in a video I had as a child that this song's story was about. So there. That's the one thing about kids today. They are absolutely spoiled. I didn't need a video from the Bee Gees to tell me what this song was all about. If I really wanted to have done so, I could have gone to the music store. I might have at some point. Just pulled up the lyrics of the song. I could have known it myself. I didn't need anybody telling me that. Okay? Why would I have to research a song before I actually listen to it? That's ridiculous. And it's lazy. Now, as I said, I've already addressed the volume of the lyrics point earlier in this video. And like I said, I didn't need anybody telling me the meaning of the song before I actually listened to it. That's lazy. Okay? So, what I'm going to say to Danielle DeWitt is, that was lazy. And that's a lazy response too, by the way. And you said, so there? Well, I say, so there to you. Ha. I'm more of an expert on this than you are. So, in retrospect, even though they did a fantastic job of preserving the song as best as they could, adding that wedding march definitely dropped their grade on this song from an A to a C. So, and that is because they just didn't pay close enough attention, and they knew the lyrics well. To sing them that well, they knew the lyrics, and they just didn't pay attention to what it really meant. So hopefully they will do better in a future presentation. I certainly hope so. In the meantime, if you happen not to be Steps and you're watching this right now, feel free to go over to Steps' YouTube channel, watch their videos, rate their videos, comment on their videos, subscribe to their channel if you'd like, and more importantly, tell them that the Speed Learner sent you. Alright, I will tell you more in a future video, so I'd like for you to stay tuned.